اللهم بارك لنا في جمعنا هذا اجعل جمعنا هذا جمعا مباركا مرحوما واجعل تفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما ولا تجعل فينا ولا منا ولا معنا شقيا ولا محروما. Oh Allah, we call upon you, we pray to you, beseech you, we ask you by names and attributes to bless this gathering and to shower us with your mercy. Oh Allah, surround us with your angels. Oh Allah, make this space a space of remembrance, a space of worship, a space of knowledge and a space of activism. We ask you to bless this community, to bless us as individuals and our families. Oh Allah, we ask you to bless our lives and our livelihood and to make the best of our actions, the last of our actions, the best of our days, the last of our days, and the best of all days, the day we meet you and you are pleased with us, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Oh Allah, we ask you to bless these days of the Hijjah and to grant us acceptance in these best days of the year. Oh Allah, we ask you to make us of those who strive for excellence and who are enabled to pursue your pleasure with our relationships with people, with our families, and with those around us, and with doing acts of goodness and benevolence throughout our lifetimes until we enter Jannah and you're pleased with us, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Ameen, ameen, wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Amma ba'd. Before we actually start with the program, we had a few du'a requests for people who are not well, people who are sick, and they asked that we make du'a for them. One of them is Brother Qamran, who's been diagnosed with cancer, colon cancer. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to give him shifa and afiyah. And also a sister who asked that we make du'a for her mother. Her mother's name is Sister Muna. And she's also been diagnosed with a few different types of cancers. I ask Allah Azza wa Jal to give her ease and to facilitate her affairs and to ease her pain. Allahumma ameen. And we have also a dua request for someone who passed away, Al-Marhum Al-Hajj Yusuf Humaid. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to elevate his status in Jannah and to give him ease and to make him of those who are in the highest levels. Allahumma ameen. اللهم رب الناس أذهب البأس واشفي أنت الشافي لا شفاء إلا شفاؤك اشفيهم شفاء لا يغادر سقما. نسأل الله العظيم رب العرش العظيم أن يشفيهم مما يؤذيهم. نسأل الله العظيم رب العرش العظيم أن يشفيهم مما يؤذيهم. نسأل الله العظيم رب العرش العظيم أن يشفيهم مما يؤذيهم. اللهم داوهم بدوائك واشفيهم بشفائك وردهم إلى كامل صحتهم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. آمين آمين. أما بعد, it's truly an honor and a pleasure to have our beloved Sheikh Mikael visit us. He came to us from the grand state of Texas and the Muslim capital of America.
Darul Hijrah, yo. Darul Hijrah, come down. There's always room in Dallas for y'all. Come through. We got y'all.
Sheikh Mikael, mashallah, he came to our community to teach us about something so critical, about something that's essential in all our relationships. Emotional intelligence, the art of prophetic listening. And through that, he's going to be speaking to us about different parts of his books. He has 2 books, very beautiful books, mashallah. And one of them is right here. When hearing becomes listening, this is a new one. It's a continuation of part 1. Part 1 is with the heart and mind. And that's about the Prophet ﷺ's emotional intelligence. There is hardly more an important subject to speak about than this when it comes to relationships and relationship building and understanding those dynamics. So, alhamdulillah that we have a scholar, a teacher, a guide for us coming. He's from Qalam Institute, as you guys know, or Qalam Seminary, with Sheikh Abdul Nasir. And he's a teacher there, an instructor. He teaches tafsir, seerah, aqidah, and hadith. MashaAllah, Sheikh Mikael has an illustrious past. He was an imam and resident scholar of a few different masajid. He grew up in a Christian home in Buffalo, New York. At the age of 18, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed him with Islam after he read the Quran and after he read the biography of Malcolm X. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on him. Allahumma ameen. Not only that, he went on to complete his hifz, and he also studied in Dimashq, al-Sham, and Jami'at Ibn Nur. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to give faraj and ease for the people of Sham. Allahumma ameen. And many, many other things. He went on to earn his bachelor's degree in Islamic Studies in Dar al-Ulum, Canada, in Ontario. And he's also, he lives in Dallas, Texas with his wife and his 3 children. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve you, Shaykh, and your family. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to bless you and everything that you're doing for the ummah. Allahumma ameen. So as we normally have it, we know in the Friday Forum, we try to keep it interactive. And mashallah, Sheikh, I got exposed to his capabilities, and he's a very dynamic speaker. So I think you're going to enjoy this. He's very interactive with you guys. We want to interact. We usually do it through this, Slido. All you got to do is scan the QR code, put your question. If your question's good enough, It'll be boosted up, inshallah. And we'll look at the questions, and at certain points, I'll give the Sheikh cues. When we got questions coming in, I'll field them to him, inshallah, and we'll take it from there, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So, you know, I guess, Sheikh, I'll leave it to you on how you'd like to start. I don't know if you have something particular in mind, if you want to start from the books or from the subject. Why is emotional intelligence important to us?
Yeah, Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. قال الله تعالى ولو كنت فظا غليظ القلب لانفضوا من حولك. صدق الله العظيم. Jazakumullah khair, everyone, for pulling up, mashallah. It looks like Jersey pulls up, mashallah. Represent. No, it's an honor, truly honor to be with you all tonight on these blessed days of Dhul Hijjah. And tonight, I want us to begin by setting our intentions right. The intention behind writing this book and the other book was I found that there was a critical aspect of the Prophet ﷺ's character. And that was he understood people deeply, right? He understood people deeply. And before I begin, Imam Shafi, he said, "Qayyidul ilm bil kitaba." Like you wanna capture knowledge by writing. And I think a lot of times we come to these Islamic gatherings, and one thing I remember about Damascus Sheikh is whenever a Sheikh said a hadith, almost every person in the gathering was like writing down. And so before we begin, I kind of just want to remind everyone, take notes, so that you can review it later and implement it in your life. With that said, I found that there was an aspect of the Prophet ﷺ's character, alayhi salatu wassalam, which was perhaps one of the most dynamic aspects of who he was. And it was his ability to connect to other people. It was his ability to understand the people around him and to connect with them in a very impactful way. And, you know, as we teach Islam and as we pass on Islam to the next generation, I think it's critical for us to understand this aspect of who he was, his connection and understanding. And I also found that this was the aspect that was most lacking in our families. Like the Prophet ﷺ's ability to understand and connect to people around him, that was the thing that made him who he was. I mean, there were people that said, you know, you were the most hated person to us, Ya Rasulullah. But the moment we met you and spent time with you, you became the most beloved person to us. And so the question that I have and I pose to people is this. The Quran says to the Prophet ﷺ, وَلَوْ كُنْتَ, if you, O Prophet of God, O Messenger of Allah, O last messenger, if you were فَضًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ, if you were harsh-hearted, if you were a very harsh person, لَنْفَضُّ مِنْ حَوْلِكَ, the people would just flee from you. They would just flee from you. And I think that speaks volume, Sheikh, because the question I ask myself, and I ask everyone in the gathering is, when you walk into a room, when you walk into your home, do people flee to you or flee from you? Because the sign that you're prophetic, the sign that you're following the sunnah, is when you walk in the house, your children, your wife, your husband, your people around you, they run to you. Not when you walk in the house, everybody say, oh, Baba's here, walk on eggshells. Baba's here, oh, watch out. It was gravy till he came, now, uh-oh. Make sure everything's perfectly matched up. Make sure everything's perfect, because he's going to lose it. You know, and subhanAllah, someone asked me recently, Sheikh, there's a hadith of Anas bin Malik. Anas bin Malik, radiallahu an, was put with the Prophet ﷺ at a young age by his mother, at a young age, to serve the Prophet ﷺ. And he says he never ever said to me, why did you do that, or why didn't you do something? Now, most of us, I have 3 little ones, y'all, so I already know. I'm talking with experience. You know what I mean? May Allah give us tawfiq. Someone asked me 2 days ago, Sheikh, aren't we supposed to teach children though? I don't understand this hadith. And I said, you misunderstood. It's not that he didn't teach him. But you know how sometimes when you're a kid, it's hard for us to remember, but you ask a kid why you do it. What does the kid do? What does the kid say? I don't know. I don't know. So the Prophet ﷺ would not spend his time saying, Lima sana'ta hada? Lima fa'alta hada? Lesh, why you do, why? The kid's like, I don't know, I'm a kid. Now, that doesn't mean the Prophet ﷺ didn't train. It doesn't mean the Prophet ﷺ didn't impact. But this person says, I spent 10 years in his company, and he never said to me, why did you do that? He trained me, he taught me, but he never said, why did you do that? So when we look at the Prophet ﷺ, what we find is that this man, alayhi salatu wasalam, he came with a completely different dynamic. He came with this dynamic which was connecting to the people closest to him so that he could pass this message on and that they could truly embody Islam. Hassan and Hussein radiallahu ta'ala anhum. They say in the masjid, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam would be on all fours. On all fours. Can you imagine the imam, you know what I mean? On all fours, his grandson rolling around with him. You'd be like, what happened to the imam? Where's the waqar? Where's the izzah? Where's the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam on all fours? And Hassan and Hussein taking turns on their back. So the point I'm trying to highlight is, in the first book that I wrote, I wanted people to realize that connecting to people is a prophetic quality. The more religious you become, it doesn't mean you disconnect from people. The more religious you become, وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَضًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ لَانْفَضُّوا مِنْ حَوْلِكَ. If your religiosity is pushing people away, you're not following the sunnah the right way. There's something you're missing there. And I'm talking about people of Allah. I'm talking about your family. I'm talking about your own children. I'm talking about the people you want to connect to and pass this message along to. And so when we look at the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, we find this individual. And I'm going to speak to the brothers for a moment here. We live in a time where everyone's on YouTube trying to find out what it means to be a man. Every one of y'all done Googled it. And the moment somebody converts, you're like, oh, there's my idol right there. Let me see what he says. Nah. You want to be a man? Be like Sayyid al-Mursaleen. Look at the Prophet ﷺ sunnah. And he came at a time when masculinity was all about no emotions. See, here's the deal, Sheikh. I was learning all this stuff about EQ, and I was seeing how beautiful it connected in our deen. But I knew if I got up here and I was like, yo, emotional intelligence, they'd be like, Amariki. He's a Western thinker. I was like, no, this is in the sunnah of the Rasul. And the Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam, Aqra bin Habis. He becomes Muslim late. He's a rough guy. He sees the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam kissing his grandson. Aqra bin Habis, he goes, I got 10 sons. I never kissed one of them. Never kissed one of them. The Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, look, and that's what I want you to understand. He's changing the meaning of masculinity. Because a true man is not the one who runs away from connection, but the true man is the one who can connect to other people in a meaningful way. Do you feel what I'm saying? And before I come back to Aqra bin Habis, I need you to understand there is deep, deep, deep implications of our family's disconnection, the implications on our religious well-being. Sheikh, check this. A lot of people right now who are struggling with religious issues, who are angry with God, they ain't angry with God, they're angry with their dad or mom because they weren't there to connect with them. You tell someone, a shab, like, yo, tawakkal on Allah, like, trust God. This person's thinking, I couldn't even trust my dad. I couldn't even trust my mom. Like, you tell someone Allah loves you. They're like, I was never loved before. So when we come back to the sunnah, and I'm going to ground everything I'm saying in sunnah because I want you to see this is your Habib, alayhi salatu wassalam. Aqra bin Habis says, I have 10 children. I've never kissed one of them. And he was flexing. He was like, that's what it means to be a man. The Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what does he say? Awa amlik in naz Allah min qalbika rahmah. Is it my fault that God snatched mercy from your heart? Pop this collar back. Like, let's redefine masculinity. Let's redefine masculinity where, when I was in Syria, I was there for a short time. In my bio, they make it like I studied there for 7 years or something. I got to clean this bio up, yo. Because y'all be coming up after me like, yo, how long were you there? I was like a month, bro. Like, But Sheikh, anyways, I was in Damascus, and the dude showing me around, he grabbed my hand. And he's walking down the street like this. And I'm American. I'm like, yo, Habibi, what are you doing? And not only that, he's holding my hand. He meets someone. He lets go of my hand, and he kisses him like 10 times. And then they have that, whatever. The point being, the reason I'm saying this is a lot of us are disconnected from our emotions. We're disconnected from ourselves. And so the Prophet ﷺ, he was saying, you have 10 sons and you never kissed one of them. That's not something to be proud of. There was a brother, a good friend of mine, Somali brother, really close friend of mine. He studied in the Jamia for some time, and he's doing his PhD right now, and forgot where. Brilliant kid. And he says, Sheikh, he says, 2-3 months ago, my grandmother died. My grandmother died. Some serious talk, yo. My grandmother died. And I was really close to her. Really close to her. And it hurt so much. It hurt deeply. But my father kept nudging me and saying to me, stop crying, hold it in. Stop crying, hold it in. That's not what we do. And I looked him in the eye and I said, you know the hadith, right? إِنَّ الْعَيْنَ تَدْمَعْ وَالْقَلْبِ يَحْزَنْ وَلَا نَقُولُ إِلَّا مَا يَرْضَى رَبَّنَا. I said, no. That's your culture. But let me teach you what your Habib Muhammad ﷺ said. He said, إِنَّ الْعَيْنَ تَدْمَعْ. The eyes will cry. The eyes will cry. وَالْقَلْبِ يَحْزَنْ. Your heart will hurt. If you lose someone you love and your heart doesn't hurt, yo, we got some therapy sessions we need to do. That's normal. وَلَا نَقُولُ إِلَّا مَا يَرْضَى رَبَّنَا. But we don't let the emotion control us. That's the manly side. The Rasul ﷺ is saying, cry. How many shabab or sisters in this room, you never seen your dad cry before? Ever. Ever.
Don't raise your hand.
Yeah. Don't let too much out today, y'all. Too much information. Keep it in. No, it's important for us to look closely at the Rasul ﷺ. There was one Arabi who came to Medina and he said, Dullani, guide me to the one who kisses his children. Yani Sha al-Khabar, the news spread that there's this man who loves children. Subhanallah. What I was trying to indicate is, okay, Sheikh, I get it. The Prophet taught us to connect. You don't understand. There's huquq Allah, huquq al-ibad. Rasul ﷺ in a sound narration, he said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive all the huquq Allah. But let me translate, sorry. There are rights of God and rights of people. And there's a sound narration that Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon us, said, Allah will forgive his rights. Prayer, fasting, you name it. Everything that was drilled into us as children, it should be. But he said there's a whole other side of responsibilities. It's called huquq al-ibad. It's the rights of other people. Now here's what you have to understand. What did our Prophet teach us, alayhi salam, about determining who has the greatest right upon you? The closest to you. The closest to you. So what we're being taught is that half of your religion on the Day of Judgment is, did you fulfill the right of these people who are right next to you? If you have a son, a daughter, a brother, a sister, or a mom, or a father, they have rights upon you that nobody in this universe can fulfill except you. And you'll be questioned about that. This is that connection. Now, a lot of us go, I put food on the table, yo. I put food on the table. Oh, really? All these like educated people, Maslow's hierarchy, what's it called? Like hierarchy of needs. What are the basic hierarchy of needs, y'all? Food, shelter, whatever, right? What's after that? Belonging, community? Belonging, community? What we desire more than anything after we have food and shelter is to belong and be a part of something bigger than us. And here you are saying, I provided food, shelter, and clothes. I did my job. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. What about wasilul arham? What about joining that family relationship, that connection? And so my intention in writing this book was for people to understand that it's your responsibility to connect deeply to people around you. And I want your goal to be that everyone feel that you love them the most. I'm going to say that again. And I'm not talking everyone on Twitter, y'all. Let me explain why I say that. Some of the reason why we can't give to the ones closest to us is because we spend most of our emotional energy out on Twitter talking to people we don't even know, commenting on people's comments you don't even know, when the one right next to you is desiring of your connection and you're not there for them. And for those not on Twitter, you on WhatsApp. The Amu's on WhatsApp, right? They be on WhatsApp like crazy, yo. How you get lost in WhatsApp, yo? Like, it's all good. Sheikh, I wanted to share one beautiful story, one beautiful verse of Quran explained by Ibn Abbas radiallahu an. And the reason I'm sharing this is I want you to understand the impact of developing a secure attachment, a good connection with someone. We know the story of Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam. In the middle of his story, there's this moment where he goes through this big fitna, when Zuleika, or whatever her name was trying to seduce him. And the Quran tells us, وَلَقَدْ هَمَّتْ بِهِ وَهَمَّ بِهَا لَوْلَا أَرَّأَتْ بُرْهَانَ رَبِّي. If it wasn't for the fact that he saw a sign from God. This is deep. He thought about it and he was about to incline, but he saw a sign from God. He saw a sign from God. And this sign of God stopped him. Are y'all with me? Y'all? Now here's my question to you. If Allah calls it a sign of God, what was it? Like Gabriel was like, yo, back up. You know, was it lightning in the window? Like, shh. He's like, all right, no, I shouldn't do that. What was it? Do you know what Ibn Abbas says? This is going to blow your mind. It's going to break your heart. Ibn Abbas says he saw an image of his father. He saw an image of his father. Meaning, in the time of difficulty, when you're going through a fitna, if your father built that deep emotional connection with you, then that father can be there for you in that difficult moment. He saw his father. This is a father that didn't focus on just clothes, food, and shelter. This is a father that brought Yusuf close to him and made Yusuf feel loved. And hold up, a lot of us in this room, they like, Sheikh, I look at the age in this room, and a lot of y'all are like, yo, my dad ain't even here right now, Sheikh. Let me tell you something. Just because someone wasn't there for you doesn't mean you don't have to be there for somebody else. A lot of us in this room have younger brothers, younger sisters, younger nephews or nieces. The Prophet ﷺ had an amazing attachment. Did he have his mother? Did he have his father? But did he have loving uncles and a grandfather that was there to hold him? Yes. So the point I'm trying to make here is, because I'm seeing a lot of the faces in the room, you're like, yo, all right, I'm going to be a good dad when I get a wifey and kids. But I ain't got that right now. Well, yes, you do. You have people around you who you can connect to. And that connection, you know, I was talking about this topic in Chicago at this inner city activism, Muslim activism group. And they help Iman. And they help with recidivism, people from going back to prison. And drug, getting off of addiction. And I shared the same story. And one of the counselors, he said, Sheikh, that's powerful. I was like, why? What makes you say that? He's like, one day, I got a call from a brother I was working with to stay away from drugs. And the brother, he said to me, he said, Fulan, whatever his name was, I was on my way to the drug house. I was walking there. But as I was walking, I heard your voice in my ear. I heard you. I heard you say, nah, you're stronger than that. You're better. And he's like, I was able to turn around and walk away. What I'm trying to show you is that human beings need other people. They don't just need shelter. They don't just need food. They don't just need clothing. They need other people. And when we are scared, listen closely. I'm going to drop some gems, but y'all better still buy the book, yo. Listen closely, y'all. When people are scared, we don't hide in place. We hide in people. When animals are frightened, they hide under beds, under couches, in corners. When animals are scared, they run to a place for shelter. But when people are scared, where do we run? Does your child hear, does your little brother hear a thunderstorm and hide under the bed or run to your room? Daddy, can I sleep with you tonight? Because because our need is connection to another human being. And so, but if you're not present, if you're not there, and I'm not talking physical presence, because we've all been around people. I'm sorry, this is a crazy topic. Physical presence is worthless, yo, if you're not there mentally and emotionally. Can I prove it to you? Salah without khushu. Salah, prayer without focus. What's it worth, yo? Nothing. I mean, you did your fard. On the day of judgment, you're like, yo, I did it. But did you really do it? Because it's physical presence, but it doesn't have what type of presence? Cognitive, mental, emotional presence. Similarly, in our relationships. Like, I feel the Sheikh. Sheikh's feeling me right now. I feel his presence. I feel your presence, your investment in what we're talking about. But if you bring out your phone real quick, and you're like, yeah. All of a sudden, I'm like, wow, I'm worthless, yo. I'm not valuable. So a lot of us are hearing people in our family say, you're not here, you're never home, and you bring out a calendar and start looking at dates you were home. I was here last week on Monday. I was here last week on Tuesday. I was here last week on Wednesday. She like, you a fool, man. You don't know what presence means. Presence isn't just standing up in prayer. Allah doesn't like that. People don't appreciate that. In fact, isn't there a narration? Correct me if I'm wrong. إذا التفت العبد, if the abd التفت في الصلاة, قال الله له, what are you looking at? So, oh, come on, someone can Google it. Y'all Google masters, right? The hadith says when an abd in the prayer التفت looks aside, then Allah addresses the person saying, is there something better than me? Is there something better than me? What I'm trying to tell you, here's the gem, write it down. If you learn to connect to people around you, that will naturally teach you how to connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well. Or vice versa. If you learn khushu in prayer, then your son, your wife, your husband's going to love you. Because you got khushu presence down. So the idea is that we as people need more than just material things. We need other people. And a lot of us are very damaged. We were very damaged because we reached out to hold somebody's hand and there was nobody to hold it back. Because our dad wasn't good with emotions and feelings and all that stuff, yo. But no lost causes here. People later in life can learn these things. And people around you can help you learn to love again. And learn to know that you are loved. And if there's one message you need to pass on to your close friends, and I'm talking to brothers and sisters. Sisters do it a lot, though. If you look at the sisters' chat and the emojis, you know what I'm saying? I be watching my wife text. I'm like, dang, yo, y'all got mad love for each other. But we text each other, me and Zayn, man, it's just like, hey, hi, where, pick me up. But, right? Facts, right? But the point I'm trying to make is that Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he said, if you love a person, tell them you love them. If you love a person, yo, Habibi in the back, blue shirt. Yeah, right there. Right there in the back. Yeah, you right there. Is there anyone around you you love, yo? Where's he at? Where's he at? Who did he just call out? At home? No. In the gathering. Anyone around you you love? Right there. What's his name? Muhammad. Yo, turn and look at each other, yo. Muhammad, turn around, yo.
Now hug and kiss.
No. Come on, man. Why you got to mess up the moment? Why you got to mess up the moment? Yo, you love him, right? If anything happened to him, you'd be in tears tomorrow, right? Tell him, yo, I love you for the sake of Allah, yo. Look at that. Beautiful. Allahu Akbar. That's what's up. Listen, a lot of us in this room, the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, this is not me. Rasul, إِذَا أَحَبَّ, if you love someone, فَأَخْبِرْهُ. Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, if you love someone, فَأَخْبِرْهُ, tell him. Why are you being stingy with that? Now my man feels mad. Look how happy he is. No, but wallah, إِدْخَالْ سُرُورَ عَلَى الْقُلُوبِ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said one of the greatest acts you can do is to bring gladness and happiness to the heart of another Muslim. If you walk up to a ammu who you see in the masjid all the time and you say, Ammu, uhibbuka fillah. He smiles. He smiles. Maybe his own children don't come to his home.
Ya Allah.
Maybe his own children don't come to his home. But right now you just said to him, I love you. And there's joy that came to his heart. إِدْخَالْ سُرُورَ عَلَى قُلُوبِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Entering and bringing joy to the hearts of the believers. My man, he's going to be tweeting about this and chatting everyone.
We love you too, Sheikh.
MashaAllah, I love y'all, man. Alhamdulillah. We've become too stingy. It's that East Coast, though, yo. It's that Northeast stuff, yo. It's that East Coast, yeah, that Northeast, like.
Nice, cold, and dry?
Yeah, dry, real dry, yo. Y'all don't know what it's like, you know, y'all. The Southern, see, there's something about places you live. Like Mecca, they say Mecca is a very tough place. But Medina, you enter Medina, it's like, oh. Yeah. So you come to Texas, oh, yo, it's like.
Until you see the guns, yeah.
Until what? I didn't hear what he said. What he said. Oh, we can't have guns? Oh, my bad. I brought mine with me. I'm just joking. I don't have a gun. No, brothers and sisters, I know we're joking. It's funny. But a lot of us are in a lot of pain right now. All jokes aside, a lot of us are in a lot of pain right now. Because the last time somebody told us they loved us for real, it was a long time ago. And another thing I think we need to all recognize, the premise of today has been people need people. We need to raise Maslow hierarchy to belonging and understand that my right that my little brother has on me, my little sister, my mom, is to make them feel loved. That's my objective. And the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did it par excellence. In fact, he did it in a way that's almost impossible to emulate. Because Abdullah bin Amr bin As, y'all all know this hadith, but now it's going to make more sense. Abdullah bin Amr bin As, the Prophet ﷺ sent him on a reconnaissance mission. And when he came back into the masjid, the Prophet ﷺ was sitting by himself in the masjid. So he comes back, you guys know the hadith. He comes back, he sits there, he says, Ya Rasulullah, I did what you told me to do. Rasul ﷺ said, okay, thank you, go on. He goes, wait, hold on, I got to ask you a question. Man ahabba an-nasi ilayka ya Rasulullah. You know the hadith. And everyone will tell you, he thought that he was. And the reality was every single person who interacted with him. And that's why I say it's a mu'jiza. Every person that interacted with him, he felt that he was the most special person. But the people in our own homes don't feel special that we appreciate them. So my point is that all jokes aside, we've really moved away from this aspect of the prophetic character. We've moved away from this, and some of the greatest people we know in the community, they're the ones who we always say about them, man, he's a beautiful person. He's a beautiful soul. Whenever he's around, you feel loved, you feel connected. And so that's part of the idea here, is understanding that we need other people. And especially for the brothers, I mean, I just think the Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he was redefining masculinity. And the Prophet is teaching us that masculinity is not running from emotions, but facing your emotions. Facing what's going on inside. I was with Sheikh Tariq Muslah last week, and he dropped something heavy. You ready for this? He says, You have to learn to deal with what's inside of you. Because if you don't deal with it, it will deal with you. If you don't deal with that trauma, pain you have because your dad never said he loved you, or never says because he's still around and he just says, Jibli Shai. He never says, I love you. And some people in this room, they're listening, they're like, what is he talking about? My dad always says, I love you. Yo, you don't realize how special, privileged, how blessed you are. Because 80% of this room is like, I feel you, Sheikh. I feel you. I know what it means. And as a fact, I'm growing up 19, 20, 21, and I can't connect emotionally to nobody. Why? Because I was never taught that. Sheikh, there's a hadith. Man la yarham la yurham. Whoever doesn't show mercy won't be shown mercy. Typically, this hadith is meant to say that show mercy in the dunya, Allah will show mercy on you in the akhirah. That's the typical understanding. But in With the Heart in Mind, I bring a different perspective. Are you ready? If you don't show love and emotions to your son or daughter as a child, when you reach old age and you need them, don't expect them to show mercy on you. Where'd they learn it from? You didn't plant that seed. Don't expect fruit from that tree. You didn't plant that seed. Why are you expecting fruit from that tree? Man la yarham la yurham. If you didn't, and this is the key. You know two people in the family who spend the most quality time together? Little children and grandparents. You know why they spend the most time together? Because all they want is each other's presence, nothing else. That's it. Your little brother who's like 7, 8, 9, whatever, all he wants to chill with you is, oh, big bro, yo, that's it. You're going to the DMV. Y'all got DMV here? Okay. It's something different everywhere. I don't know. You go into the DMV, you're like, I'm just going to stand in line. Your little brother's like, can I come? And you're like, no, he just wants to be with you. Your grandfather, so I have a close friend, man. His grandfather passed away. Allahumma yarhamu. And he said that I was helping my grandfather towards the end of his life. And he said that we were about to walk out the house, and my grandfather sat down to put his shoes on. And it was taking him a little longer to put his shoes on. Just the same way when we're really young, it takes time to get ready. When we get older, it takes time to get ready. And so my friend, he says, I bent down to kind of help him do it quickly. And my grandfather said to me, I don't need you to speed me up. I just need you to be with me along the way. I don't need you to make things happen faster. Your grandfather don't want to move faster, yo. No. He just wants you to be there with him as he moves around. Your little brother, your little cousin, I'm just going to the DMV. I know, but I just want to be with you. Okay, come on, let's go. You'll see how whack it is, but come on, let's go. The point I'm trying to get you to see is that there's people around us that need us. And if you're listening to me right now and you're like, yo, that's soft. You know what I mean? What's he talking about? Can I give another example? I told you when we're scared, we run. Where do we run when we're scared? To people. When we're scared, we run to people. Animals, they run to places for shelter. But we run to other human beings. I have a question for you. You guys ready? Can you think of a moment in the seerah when somebody very special ran to somebody else very special? Khadija. Our Habib sallallahu alayhi wasallam, man of all men. Ana nabi la kadhib. Man of all men. He runs down from that mountain full speed. He doesn't run in the house and say, I'll handle it, don't worry, let me figure things out. He runs into the house, he says, cover me, hold me, I'm scared. Vulnerability par excellence, y'all. Vulnerability, like that's the thing. We trying to keep it up. I'm good, yo, I'm good. You just lost your job. You walk in the house. You want to cry. You want to cry to wifey. You want to cry to your dad. I just lost my job. I don't know what's going to happen next. He was scared. لَقَدْ خَشِيتُ عَلَى نَفْسِي. The muhaddithin actually debate what was he afraid of. Well, he said, لَقَدْ خَشِيتُ. I'm worried about myself. You lose your job and you walk in the house and she's like, what's going on? You're like, no, we good. She's like, I didn't ask if we were okay, but are we okay now? What I'm trying to show you is that this man, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in a moment of fear, he didn't cover fear, he expressed fear. But he expressed it to the right place. He didn't go and emotionally rant on social media. He went to where that emotional investment would be welcomed. He goes, لَقَدْ خَشِيتُ عَلَى نَفْسِي. I'm worried about myself. And she says, كَلَّا. No. لَا يُخْزِيكَ اللَّهُ أَبَدًا. She covers him, she holds him, and she goes, no, 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 no. She supports him. The reason I'm bringing this up now, fast forward 23 years. Fast forward 23 years. It's the last 3 days of the Prophet ﷺ's life. What does he ask all the azwaj mutahhara? He asks his wives, can I stay in Aisha's house? I need to be close to her. Our Habib ﷺ, revelation begins by being held by another person, a woman. And he leaves the world, quite literally, being held by a woman. We don't come in the world alone. We're not meant to leave alone. We're meant to have people with us all along the way. There was a Sahabi who said, when I die, I put it in the book, when I die and you bury me, don't leave right away. Stay near the grave and recite Quran so I can get used to it. You know, you take your children to kindergarten for the first time, and you just got to stay there till they get used to it. You just got to stand around like, I'm here. And they play a little more, and they look back, and you're gone all of a sudden. Trauma dipped out, you know what I mean? No, all jokes aside, man, his revelation began in the arms of a woman. In the age when we're defining masculinity as all types of whack stuff. He wasn't soft, but he was gentle. You feel me? There's a difference. He was tough when he needed to be tough, but he was emotionally vulnerable when he needed to be emotionally vulnerable. And that is the prophetic sunnah. That is the most beautiful aspect of the sunnah. And so that's what I'm talking about. I just want people to realize his connection to people around him and how he made people feel loved. And Sheikh, any questions, man? I mean, like, I could go all night, Habibi.
Yeah, they're coming in.
You know, one, you got them? Okay, you fixed that. I got one more thing I want to say real quick. No, like, subhanAllah, you know, whenever the connection is made, you begin to understand each other on a deeper level. I'll tell you one narration, then we can field some questions for a minute. Because I think questions are where we'll grow together. 2 days before the Prophet ﷺ passes away, he comes in, he's brought onto the minbar. There's no minbar here, okay. He's brought onto the minbar. And he says these words. The whole masjid is full. Because everybody knows the Prophet ﷺ has been sick. So he's on the minbar and he says, a man has been given a choice to go forward or stay back. And he chose to go forward. This is what he said. One of the Abu Ubaidah bin Jarrah or another Sahabi, he says that we heard in the back of the masjid someone weeping like a baby. Let me reiterate. I feel like I lost a few people here. 2 days before he passes, he goes on the minbar. This is his last khutbah. He says a man has been given a choice to go forward or stay back, and he chose to go forward. The masjid's like quiet. But in the back of the masjid, one person is weeping like a baby. Everyone looks back. And one of the Sahabis says, Ma ba'al shaykh yabaki. Why is he crying? The Prophet just said somebody was given a choice. He chose to go forward. Why would he cry? Who was the one crying? Abu Bakr. And Abu Bakr understood him when nobody else understood him. That is what connection gives you. The ability to understand when nobody else understands. And subhanAllah, as a father of daughters, our responsibility is to make our daughters feel as loved as Fatima felt. Fatima, radiallahu anha, oh man, she knew that Rasul loved her. She knew how much he loved her. She knew how much he loved her. But you know, that's who Rasul is, you know.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. MashaAllah, a lot of gems you dropped on us. By the way, I forgot to mention something in the beginning. There's going to be the books available for you guys, and anyone who wants the Sheikh to sign it, he can sign it for you guys afterwards, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. So when we finish, there's for brothers over there and for sisters in the side over here, inshallah. I didn't think this question was relevant, Sheikh, but since you spoke
I hope you fielding them, yo. They be off the cuff sometimes, yo.
Yeah, this first, since you mentioned masculinity a few times, it seems like you could say something meaningful about it. I don't know. It must be a brother asking this, but he says, just curious, as a member of the youth, how much merit is there to Andrew Tate and his preachings? Is it something to take seriously? Or what? Islamic or not?
Why you
since you spoke about masculinity,
why you setting me up? Yo, the imam setting me up. Yo, we live streaming?
It's streaming.
Y'all gonna get the politically correct answer. You got me on YouTube right now.
By the way, this is the highest votes.
Oh, y'all shady. Northeast, yo. All right, listen up. Let's real talk, 100% real talk. Listen. Everyone should be happy with anyone's accepting of Islam. Number one. I don't care if the biggest shaitan becomes Muslim. We should all say Allahu Akbar. Number one. Number two. Don't take your al-ilmu deen. Ad-deenu ilm. فانظر من تأخذ دينك. Rasul, is it hadith? Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, knowledge is religion. Be careful where you take knowledge from. So here's the issue I have. If some brother just walked in the masjid and became a Muslim, are y'all going to start having halakas with the brother next week? You ain't going to be sitting there studying his like, yo, can you teach us now? Master Sensei. Bruh, he needs to get in line and learn like everybody else. Sit with the sheikh. Learn the sunnah. Learn what it means to be Muhammadan sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Learn what it means to follow the sunnah. So my biggest issue is not with the individual. I actually never even heard anything except for like shorts that people just post. Like I never really gave time to that. I ain't got time for that. Which brings me another thing is why y'all living on the internet so much.
There you go.
Like live in reality, man. Why are you so caught up in the algorithm, man? I don't understand why people. You know what's happening? You can't even interact with real people because you're interacting half the time from an anonymous account that you got on Twitter. That you can say whatever you want and be the bravest you can be because nobody knows who it is. People are living on the internet as if it's like real life, man.
I love your response, Sheikh.
No, hold up, though. So all I'm trying to say is learn masculinity from the Habib Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. It's just such a... It's, with all due respect, man, it's disrespectful, man. The Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam literally said, أَنَا لَكُمْ كَالْوَالِدْ أُعَلِّمُكُمْ. I am like a father to you. I teach you. Listen, there's a weak hadith. Al-hikmatu dhalatul mu'min. Wherever they find it, there are haqqu biha. It's a weak narration, but the meaning is sound. Wisdom is the lost treasure of the believer. Wherever you find it, you take it. If somebody says something that's facts and good and goes in line with the Rasul, take it, whoever says it. But don't make people your teachers just because they have a following on social media, yo. I hope that answers the question.
It does.
It doesn't discredit things. It's just like, what do you learn?
I think it's been asked so many times here, and I think you provided a very meaningful response. Hopefully it won't be asked again, inshallah. All right, so there was another question here, Sheikh. This one relates to emotional intelligence. Often you hear, all we need is Allah. While true, how can we explain to our brothers and sisters that mental health needs are real, emotional needs are real?
This is such a 90s question, but it's important. It's important. Okay, listen. I don't want to sound as if I'm patronizing people or like you're making fun, but I'm being serious. If you sprained your ankle, do you come to the sheikh to do ruqya on it?
I hope not.
Okay, listen. Ruqya has its merit, right? But you know if you sprained your ankle or hurt something physically, you're not going to come straight to the masjid and be like, Sheikh, I think I tore a ligament. Can you like, where are you going to go first? He's going to be like, Habibi, I'm going to give you the ruqya, then go to the hospital. Mental health and physical health, nafsu shay. These are real things. And all you want to do is tell your child, go to the sheikh. Read more Quran. Oh my God. Don't tell a person suffering from mental illness or even low levels of neurosis, anxiety. Don't tell them read more Quran. You need to tell them, that's a cop-out for people that don't want to talk to people and help them through stuff. Yes, you need to be reading Quran no matter what anyway. But the same way we can get sick and get a cold. I read 3 juz today, but I got the sniffles, yo. Oh, that means my Quran wasn't accepted because I got a cold? I just feel like this is such a 90s issue. By now, we should all understand, if your child, wife, husband, whatever, is like, I got anxiety. That's literally the same as them saying, yo, like, I think I fractured my arm. Treat it the same way is what I'm saying. You go to a professional. But here's the thing. There's aib. Favorite word of the community, aib. What are people going to say? What are people going to say, na'udhu billah, if someone takes their own life? Are you worried about that? Because that's what it can end up. Mental illness is real. And not even serious, just seasonal. You know how some people get seasonal colds? Some of us get seasonal anxiety. I'm for real. And it's totally fine. Do you know, let me share something with you. Hassan bin Thabit. This is going to blow your mind, yo. Hassan bin Thabit, radiyallahu an, he was the poet of the Prophet ﷺ. My man would drop bars for days. Fire, yo. Next level. The Prophet ﷺ one time, I was trying to say he's a very good poet.
That's another way to say it.
Sheikh, he's a very good poet. Drop bars like, you know. Anyways, one time the Rasul ﷺ said, I need you to write a diss track against the Quraysh. And he said, okay, I got you. I'm going to go to the lab right quick. Yo, I got you. But he says, but my family's there. And he goes, no, don't worry. I'll pick them out the way people pick hair out of dough. Like, I'll single them out. Like, whatever. Okay, cool. So Hassan bin Thabit, in the battle of Khandaq. Where was Hassan bin Thabit in the battle of Khandaq? Who knows the answer to this question? He was with the women. He was with the women. No, all jokes aside. He was with the women in the fortress. But hold up. Safiya, the aunt of the Rasul ﷺ, she sees someone attacking individual. She goes, Hassan, go kill him. He says, if I could kill people, I'd be with the soldiers. I'm with y'all right now. So she goes out and whatever. Who cares that part of the story, right? Sister just converted. She like, what they talking about over here, right? It was a war. There was a battle going on. Ibrahim, I was like, you know what I mean? I got to like PG this joint. Okay. So she goes out and handles this soldier that's attacking. I read in the commentary of Sharh al-Mawahib al-Laduniya, Imam Qastalani says that Hassan bin Thabit could not fight in battle because he saw something that messed him up and he couldn't go back to battle. Yani? PTSD, clearly. And the Prophet let him stay. You're excused. You don't have to go. They said he could not see battle because of something he experienced back in his life.
Subhanallah.
Exactly. The Rasul was like, you're different. You can stay here. You're fine. And it also points out that we have different skills. Oh, you need me to defend with my words in my poems? I got you. You need me to hold the sword? I can't do that. I can't do that. So point is that he recognized something psychological, and that was even an excuse for him to let someone not participate. I just thought that was very interesting. You feel me?
Absolutely.
Very interesting. So, listen to the fathers and the mothers in the room. Please, when someone in your family says, I have a bit of anxiety, I'm like psychologically, it's not all that, take it serious and allow them to get the help that they need. Allow them to go to people that can help them through that, and don't feel ashamed. And the only thing I can say to you is if your child broke their arm, you wouldn't be ashamed to take them to the ER. You wouldn't be like, we got to hide this. You wouldn't do that. Yes, you need the spiritual part as well, no doubt. You go to the doctor, you go to the psychologist, you go to whoever, and you do that. And you come to the sheikh, you get ruqya, you get dua, you do some cupping, whatever it may be. But please don't belittle the need for mental wellness and mental well-being. There's a sister with her hand up. You can post the questions on this. Yeah, bismillah. Mm. Well, sister, there's a few things you brought up which are just ingenious, like so important. Social media is one of the main things that bring more issues with our mental well-being. Body dysmorphia is a major thing that women go through, girls go through. Half of that's because you're online. Can we be adults here and talk about some real stuff? Like body dysmorphia is real. That's because you're scrolling through Instagram seeing fake filtered pictures. And then when you look at yourself, you don't see that. So a lot of the issues are coming because of our prolific social media usage. Me and you, I don't know how old you are actually, Sheikh, but me and you are from a time when like we weren't born with the internet. Like they're born with it like right there. So first thing she said was about mental well-being and social media. I'm for real. Listen to me. Hear me out. I know you're going to be like, he's an old Amu now. You need to get off social media, yo. Call me what you want. Maybe I'm getting old, but that stuff is messing your head up, yo. Yo, listen. Not just fitna, like even, yes, there's clear fitna, no doubt, 100%. But I say this all the time. If the app is free, you're the thing being sold, yo. If the app is free, you are the commodity, Habibi. And that's what the reality is. Your attention, you're just giving time away. So let's move forward.
I love that quote.
Yo, they're the commodity. Yo, but the sister said something else. She said the internet is making them weaker. Wallahu alam. I mean, sister, I think a lot of us grew up in a time where we say to our children, well, my parents didn't show me love and I came out okay. The question is, did you? Whenever somebody says that, oh, we came out okay, I was beat up like crazy. Did you come out okay? That has yet to be proven, yo. And one more thing. Ali radiallahu anhu, he said, رَبُّ أَوْلَادَكُمْ لِزَمَانِهِمْ لَا لِزَمَانِكُمْ فَإِنَّهُمْ خُلِقُوا لِزَمَانٍ غَيْرَ زَمَانِكُمْ. Ali radiallahu anhu, he says, raise your children. Sister, hear me out. Raise your children for their time, not your time. Because they were created in a different time, not your time. So you say, oh, this is what my dad did with me. That's the epitome of silliness. Because you need to switch up with the times and understand what the norm of time is. And that doesn't mean change what we want to teach. You still want to teach haya. You still want to teach qana'a. You still want, let me translate. I'm not bad, y'all. You still want to teach modesty. You still want to teach contentment. You still want to teach all of these beautiful qualities. But the method to do it may be different. So you want to teach grit. We were talking about grit the other day. You want your children to understand things are difficult. Well, that doesn't mean, make them, you want that car? Get that job,
Absolutely.
Yeah, get a job. Small stuff like that,
All right, this is sadly the top one right now, Sheikh. But
just because they want it, don't mean we got to do it.
No, it's a good one. It's a good one.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with questionable individuals. Anyway, I found more emotional support with my non-Muslim friends. How do I change my circle of friends? They've been there for me more than my family.
Ya Rabbi.
What do you say?
I say, shame on us, yo. Shame on us. Shame on us, yo. It's sad. It's sad. Listen. Revelation began with a hug. People need hugs, yo. The beginning of Revelation, you know it. It began with a hug. You're trying to pass this message on with like deep Ash'ari Maturidi discussions. Deep Aqidah discussions, like on the nature of like cosmology. Yo, hug somebody, yo. Half the people that have issues with religion, it's not rational problems, yo. They just need a hug, man. And Revelation began with a hug. I don't have an answer. The answer is that we talk about this in the community and we reach out to each other and we're there for them. I think that's a male asking that question. Could be a female, but betting is haram, but I would bet it's a male. Because we don't show emotion. Yo, Abdullah, we're going to ball. You coming? No, I'm good. All right, cool, he's good. He ain't good. Call him, listen to him, hear his voice. Oh, yo, Abdullah's having issues, y'all. Cancel the game. We going to Abdullah's house. Let's see what's going on. Yo, Abdullah, pull up. Abdullah, what's up, man? We came to get you. Where's that at? It's gone. And unfortunately, this person is getting what's called fellowship from somewhere else. From Christianity, when you open the Quran, it's so familiar. You're like, I already know this story. I'm like, I know how this story ends. But the clarity that it brings, the oneness of God, the pure worship.
So it wasn't because a Muslim hugged you, yani?
Nah, that's true. That's a very good point. You got me there, yo. There was no one that hugged me in the beginning.
Fortunately.
She came later.
Oh. I wasn't going there, Sheikh, but okay, all right, what are your thoughts on parents who want to parent with toughness or think punishment is essential?
Oh, man. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. I think there's a level. It's a tough question. There's different methodologies for child psychology, and I don't know how to answer that. Every child is different, even with my own children. Every child is so different on how we help them, guide them to what's best. But the hadith is Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam never hit a child or a woman ever in his life. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Never ever in his whole life. Anas bin Malik, he was sent to go do a chore and he didn't do it. And he ended up playing some game with the kids. And the Prophet came behind him and he says, did you finish what you were doing? And he goes, oh, I'm going right now. And that's all he said. So it's a very tough one. Be careful with that. Brothers and sisters, parents, be careful with that. Because sometimes, listen, I'll say it this way. I got you. You ready? Write this down, yo. There are cheerleaders and coaches. We need both of them in life. What do I mean by that? What does a cheerleader do? The cheerleader cheers you on. You could be losing like 45 zip, and the cheerleaders are still like, go team, go. You guys are amazing. Okay? That's your mom most of the time. And then you have coaches. The coach is he's going to tell you when you're not playing the best you could play. We need both of them in our lives. We need people who are there to tell us, hey, you could fix this, you could do this better, right? But that's where emotional intelligence comes in, because if the person doesn't know you love them deeply, then that punishment just feels like torture. But when I know you love me, when I've spent years emotionally investing in you, and then I say strictly, no, you cannot do that, or I'm angry, that's different. Some of us are punishing without ever having shown love. Show your love. Let the person feel that you love them before you start all this other stuff. I hope that helps. I hope that helps.
All right, here's the other side of that, Sheikh. How can you be patient with an abusive parent?
Oh, you don't have to be patient. You could, like patient? What you mean?
That's the question.
Emotional. I need more. I need more. There's so much. So, like literally, if it's like physically abusive, like textbook abusive, then you don't have to stay in that. You don't have to stay in that. You know what I'm trying to say? Emotionally abusive is just as bad as physical abuse. I can't answer the question. That person needs to come and talk to us actually, like in the office. How old are they? What type of abuse? What's going on?
Yeah.
You need they need to actually. That's not a question that we could just answer here.
You need to reach out.
Yeah.
Talk to somebody.
And I will say this though. I'm gonna talk about this in the workshop on Sunday. Sometimes there were situations where someone said my father was abusive to me, and the prophet would call people in and realize it was a different situation. So we do need to kind of like sit down one-to-one and discuss things like that in more detail. But generally speaking, you need to remove toxic people from your life. You don't have to stay around toxic people. Okay. Yeah, you don't have to stay around toxic people that are truly toxic and hurting your well-being and your emotional and religious well-being. You should not stay around that. Wallahu a'lam.
Do people have direct questions?
It's 10:05 right now too.
Yeah, any last question? One last question?
The sister who converted. Yeah, in Islam, sister, we have rights to family members. That doesn't mean we have to spend our time around them all the time. Like, as a Muslim, I have to take care of my mother. I have to take care of her, make sure she's good. But sometimes she can be, in a case, not my mother, she's great, but maybe a very, very toxic person. Backbiting all the time, just messes my mental health up. So you got to remember it this way. When you get on the plane, they say, in the case of emergency, a mask will drop down. Secure your mask first, then help the person next to you. I'm going to say the same thing. If this person is messing up your religious well-being, your spiritual well-being, well, put your mask on first before you try to help someone else. But parents, you still, I take care of you financially, whatever. I say salam to you, whatever. But just spending time around sometimes is where I'm going to now distance myself because of the harm that you're bringing. True harm. Not annoying. Everyone's annoying. Annoying is whatever. I'm talking about harm. Do you get it?
I get it.
Yeah. Like our children can be annoying. Like my son's annoying sometimes. That's not toxic. Oh my God, you're killing my mental well-being. No, you're just being a kid. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. This is a beautiful session with you. We learned from you so much. Allah bless you and preserve you and give you the best of this dunya and the akhirah. We're going to transition to the next segment. What we're going to do is we have about 15 minutes left until Salah. So we're going to do the book signings for the brothers now.
Yeah, I'll do the book signings for the brothers right now. After prayer, we'll do for the sisters. Yes. You'll come with me on the other side over there.
So right now, if anyone wants to buy the book or speak with the Sheikh, he's going to be by the table over there outside. So please let him get there in one piece. And then after Isha, what's up?
Oh, it's in South Jersey. Is that what y'all call it?
Yeah.
And I'll be doing about a 3-hour workshop on my book at MBIC, Dr. Shadi's spot.
Nice.
I'll be down there on Sunday
Nice.
doing a 3-hour workshop on the book.
Nice,
So
nice,
what we talked
mashallah.
about here is just like 40-minute discussion.
Mashallah,
I'll
mashallah.
go deeper into the
If
book.
it's NBIC, Sheikh, that's central.
That's central?
Yeah, New Jersey has 3 parts.
Okay.
North, central, and I'm just joking.
Cool.
Anyway, brothers, you could go over there if you want to buy the book.
And just so
speak
you
with the Sheikh.
understand, sisters, I know we're doing the book signing or whatever after Isha. It's logistically, it's the only way it would work, inshallah.
Yeah, so sisters, after Isha, if you want to speak with the Sheikh, he's going to come over to the sister side, and you can get him to sign your book as well, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair, and subhanakallah wa hamdika, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Beautiful, mashallah.